How's it going, folks? So today at work, I was not wearing this hat. I was wearing the rest of this, but I wasn't wearing this hat. I was wearing this one when I get stopped by my boss. Reached out to shake his hand, and he told me, "I'll shake your hand now, but if we were outside of work, I'd be spitting on your hand." And I kind of told him, "Well, I'll shake your hand back for right now, and if we were outside of work and you spit on my hand, you probably wouldn't like what I would do." But the reason I wear this hat to work is to start conversations. I work in Texas, to remind you. These guys aren't all citizens, but they have work permits. Every single one of them. If they want to work at the plant, they got a work permit. Well, that means that they're still here if Donald Trump's elected, period. Unless they commit a federal crime, or once that work permit runs out, if it's not renewed or they don't become citizens, then that's when the issues come. But that's their prerogative. Alright, so it's a Hispanic guy, and after he tells me that, I tell him, give me 5 seconds, and you won't have the same perspective on this at all. Well, I work for a contractor. The contractor works for Chevron directly. And I brought up corporate taxes, the corporate tax plan. Alright, well, every single person in America hears regularly liberals talk about how the big top 1% big dogs are ruining everything, and Donald Trump's only for those guys. Let me tell you why they're wrong. Who pays your paycheck? If you work for a corporation, which you most likely do, who pays your paycheck? The big guys. Top guys. Alright? So now, these top guys are going to get, at the top there, Chevron. Remember, I work for a contractor. They're Chevron. Now they got a 20% corporate tax increase. Up to 55%. And now, they don't have as much money that they could be giving the contractors. There's multiple contractors out at that plant. So now each one of those contractors gets paid less. Now, well, let's say that their contract remains the same. They manage it. Now you've got a 20% increase on them too. Up in corporate taxes. 55%. Well, do you think we're ever going to see another pay raise? There ain't a chance. You think they're going to be hiring a bunch of people anytime soon? Nope. So, we discussed that. Then he said, well, when he talks about Mexicans, I asked him pretty clearly, yeah? What did he say about Mexicans? He said, when he says they're sending them. So, simplest thing is to look at Mexico, I tell him. Look at Mexico. When people say Mexico, what do they think about? Do they think about the Mexican government? Do they think about the Mexican culture? Sometimes maybe people think Mexican food, but no. The number one power in Mexico is the drug cartels. They run the show. And yes, they are sending people. And they're not just sending them from Mexico. They're coming up from Colombia up. Some of them from farther down, Guatemala. And you just look at these people and say, yeah, they're sending people. That's happening. But they refuse to believe it. So buy one of these hats. Wear it to work. I don't care if you're watching this after the election and Hillary won. Wear it. Start a conversation. Let people know how you feel and teach them a lesson. Everybody ought to learn something every day. How about that? Alright, folks. Subscribe.